to reach our vision and objectives, we are developing a target-setting framework. It outlines in a transparent way our approach and principles for how we will contribute to the decarbonization of our economy.
Scientific data help us better understand the complexity of climate change and its potential impacts on our long-term investments. Also, scientific data is essential to have an accurate vision of what we could be facing and adapt our portfolios accordingly.
The long-term vision set out by our net zero targets is helping to stimulate and inform short-term action today.
The Asset Owner Alliance members start out with changing themselves first and then reach out to various companies to work on the change of their businesses.
We want to engage with industry leaders to learn how best to transition. We are a strong believer that we are smarter together so that we can successfully achieve our net zero target by 2050.
We are a very powerful collective, not only as investors, but also to show leadership.
As many asset owners join us, the impact multiplies exponentially. And I believe in the power that we have to drive change.
Partnerships like the Asset Owner Alliance give me hope. It sets an example of leadership, and it shows the way for business, government, and society to work together to create a more sustainable world.
The AOA is a very powerful investor initiative because it builds upon progress that's been made both in the area of climate risk disclosure and in corporate engagement.
As the members are all asset owners, they have a really unique position at the top of the financial system, which allows them to drive change and development of industry best practice through their investment mandates. They've committed to the highest ambition level to date, net zero by 2050, across their entire portfolio, with interim targets set every 5 years that increase in line with the Paris Agreement.
Asset owners can support the post-COVID economic recovery by using their combined voice as global investors to advocate for the inclusion of climate and sustainability issues to be embedded in recovery packages.
Infrastructure investment, where we would expect a lot of the stimulus to be directed, those are long life assets, and therefore we need to invest in the right kind of low carbon systems, the right sort of infrastructure, if we're to stay within the 1.5 or even the 2 degree of warming. Net zero commitments from investors, really they're a sort of NDC, and they are an equivalent to what policymakers are seeking. They are a forward objective or forward guidance to where an investor needs to take their portfolio.
Asset owners can encourage ambitious NDC submissions by, first of all, asking governments to embed net zero by 2050 in economic recovery, NDCs and national emission reduction plans, and to publish interim targets for 2025 and 2030. They also need to let governments know that they support their actions, and by providing also asset owner input on national emissions reduction plans and NDCs. I think that they can also be asking governments to introduce mandatory TCFD disclosures. These all help in decision making. My main message to financial actors wanting to take effective climate action would be, firstly, to commit to transitioning their investment portfolios to net zero by 2050 and setting near-term targets. Then it would be you need to invest in solutions because we can't get to 2050 without solutions. And also to engage with your asset managers.
If we're going to really be successful, it's about an entire ecosystem approach, which means it's about asset owners, it's about managers, it's about the rest of the financial system. And I would include in that accountants and auditors and those in the legal profession. Everybody needs to be stepping up.
This time is critical.
We no longer have 10 years to get the climate crisis in hand. It's really in the next 2 to 3 that most of the critical decisions need to be taken.